Tony?
No, I'm T-Tro. You're N-Tro.
I stand corrected.
And we're here to watch the world burn. I had to stop him from that faux pas.
My bad. I didn't realize we're in the 248 already in the FP. So anyways, the FP is a 2001 American comedy written directed by the Trost brothers, Brandon and Jason Trost. Representing the 248 is Jason Trost as J-Tro, Brandon Barrera as B-Tro, Art Han, who?
HS. Oh, Shoe. What
he said as KCDC. I love these names. Nick Principal as BLT.
That's a great street name. That's got street cred, and it's got bacon and lettuce and tomato.
That's what you want. All right, I'm sorry. I'm gonna bring it together. All right. Caitlin Foley as Stacy, and then representing the 245 is let's see here, Lee Valmassi as LEE, James DeBello as Beatbox Busta Bill. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make it through this, I promise.
We're gonna print the names and put them right here so you can read along with us.
Brian Goddard as Suck a Nigga.
There goes that YouTube revenue.
And there's other people in there, but that's your main cast and crew. Budget of $45,000. Unfortunately, it brought in $40,000, which is a damn shame.
This was not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and they knew that from the moment they started writing it. So.
They absolutely did. Let's see here. Filmed in Fraser Park, so yes, there actually is a FP. This place
does exist
in California. I mean, not as is represented, of course, but you know what I mean. It's actually based on a short written by Jason Trost, by J-Tro. Let's see. So it was actually seen by B-Tro, Brandon Barrera, and it's like, hey, this is kind of cool. Why don't we make a full-length film out of this? So that's what they did.
You got to appreciate ambition on that level. So
you do. You really do. So this is a movie. It was totally a family affair. So obviously written, directed by Brandon and Jason, like I mentioned. But then also the dad helped produce stuff, and actually a lot of the stuff was shot. A lot of the scenes were shot on his dad's property, Ron Trost, and then
Artro.
And then you had doing the costumes. I'm assuming it's a sister, S-Tro, Sarah Trost.
Could be a sister-in-law.
Could be wife. I don't know. It doesn't say, but. Again,
and I'm just gonna say, her eye, her taste, her fashion sense
is impeccable.
Is absolutely what this film needed. So
it is. The costume was so well done. I mean, everything just works in that. We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, this was a film that was discovered completely on accident. Mm-hmm. This was back. Hey kids, remember back when Netflix actually used to ask filmmakers to submit their films to them, and they would put indie flicks on Netflix, and that was before they, became, no, we don't want your indie stuff. We only want to deal with studios. And then now the studios are all like, yeah, thanks Netflix, but you know what? We don't want to deal with you. We have our own streaming service now. Anyway, so yeah, what goes around comes around. But back then, a lot of indie filmmakers would throw their films on Netflix, and you could check out a lot of independent cinema, and some of it was great, some of it was trash, but it was always fun digging through it. And that's how we found this film, which we had never heard of. But when the premise of your film is a post-apocalyptic world wwhere Dance Dance Revolution is used to settle all scores and may result in death. I'm sorry, it's not
Beat Revelation. Because it's not dance off, it's a beat off.
Hey, LWE, I challenge you to a beat off.
Motherfuckers die, man. 187.
But so just to put this out there, the premise is completely absurd, but it's absurd in all the right ways. And
well, let's get into it.
well, let's cover the plot. But yeah, shame on you, Netflix, for screwing over Indy. And I'm just gonna say that, you know what, you want to get back in people's good graces. Maybe you should try offering something that's not a bad Ben Affleck flick. Just throwing that out there for you.
Or a bad robot.
Or just bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you had an open gateway and you closed it, and I still don't understand the decision. But then Amazon said, "Hey, you got an indie film? Come on, throw it on here for us." So, and that's how we wound up with a lot of fabulous garbage films that are absolutely a blast to watch. But to dig into the plot, in post-apocalyptic Fraser Park, now known as the FP. J-Tro reigns supreme on Beat Revelation. He is the man to beat, and yet, after a challenge by, which one was it? What was it?
Oh, hang on. L-double-E.
L-double-E, that would be Lee for short, but L-double-E, actually it should be L-33. That would have been cooler.
Oh, kind of like L-double-E.
L-double-E decides he's going to face off against J-Tro, and they dance. I'm sorry, they beat.
It's a beat off.
They beat, and J-Tro is defeated, and he dies in his brother J-Tro's arms in a very soul-crushing and dramatic scene that just brought tears to my eyes. And then J-Tro decides that he's got to leave the FP, and L-double-E and his crew take over, and they ban the sale of alcohol. And because they ban the sale of alcohol, there's no one to go to the lake and throw bread in for the ducks. So
hang on, no. So I'm probably gonna put it up here. So here it comes.
God damn drunks going straight edge right on the street. And now, with no drunks, there ain't no bums. And with no bums, there ain't no motherfuckers to feed the ducks at the park. What's a fucking town with no ducks, J-Tro? It's nothing. It ain't nothing.
It's nothing. Ain't nothing.
Nothing
without ducks.
How's niggas supposed to sort this shit out without no ducks?
It's all about the ducks. It's really all about the ducks. But it's also about getting fired up in the FP. So J-Tro goes underground and the Asian guy's name. What is his name?
KCDC.
I'm sorry. KCDC goes on a quest to find J-Tro and tell him what has happened to the FP in his absence. And J-Tro decides that he is going to attempt to avenge his brother's death, and he is going to try to bring alcohol back to the FP. And
because things are tough in the FP.
No ducks.
How's niggas supposed to sort this shit out without no ducks?
And along the way, J-Tro finds the love of his life.
Stacy.
And through their whirlwind romance and a Rocky-esque montage, he learns that with the right footwear, you can dance, you can beat Revelation your ass off, and you can avenge your brother's death and bring the ducks back. And I that's it. That's the plot, such as it is. Ridiculous? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Vulgar?
Damn
absolutely. Hilarious? Absolutely.
There are so many references, which is outright portrayals of Head. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I forgot how many there were. There's probably like 5 or 6. It's stupid.
Just
even the very end. In the very end, you don't get there's no making out. There's no kiss, and no, she goes down.
So, yeah, it's this beautifully shot scene where they're in silhouette, and there's the park in the background, and the ducks have come back, and you see her go. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of cinematography. It was, whoever storyboarded that one, man, I hope you got extra credit. But this
is a lot of fun. This movie is an absolute blast. like you said, the plot is bad shit, insane, but it's so much fun. I mean, I would have to think it's probably at least partially inspired by Grandma's Boy, the whole Dance Dance Revelation scene, because that movie actually came out the year before he wrote and did his short.
Okay.
So so if you haven't seen Grandma's Boy, there is a scene where
one of the software developers
gets challenged to Dance Dance Revolution, and they have a dance off, and it's quite hilarious.
Woo! That game is fun. Oh my god.
A new high score!
What does high score mean? New high score, is that bad?
So this is that, like, with the
turned up to 11.
Yeah, with some Mad Max thrown in on top of it.
And with the greatest wardrobe ever, seen on film that I can think of. I don't quite know what to talk about here. I mean,
there's a lot of things to talk about. I mean, because it's an incredibly low budget, $45,000, yet it is shot very well.
Yeah. The cinematography, they used every dollar that they had, and then it's all on screen. There's no two ways about that one.
And you can tell they worked totally within their means. So most of the locations are the property of Ron Trost, the father.
Artro.
Yeah, Artro. And so, they work within their means. Did they rip off Rocky? Yeah,
yes.
Probably a little bit. Rocky 3?
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of all the Rockies.
It would have been Rocky 4 because that's the one Apollo died in.
Yeah, but B-double-E has the sweet mohawk like Mr. T back in the day. And there's a lot of shades of Clubber Lang.
Check yourselves out at the 138. There's a street match coming up against a triple-decker 1K. Beat that, chump. Then maybe we'll talk about a match.
But you people ain't never gonna see it happen because he's gonna retire. You see, he don't fight no real man.
Mick died. I was gonna say Mick died in Rocky 3, but
yeah.
But
so there's like that going on. The music was well done. Who the composer was? Let's see here. George Holdcroft did the music for this one.
And he did all of it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised because there's a lot of variety in this, and it doesn't feel like a movie that was... Normally when you watch a movie, especially comedies, and they have a rock song on the soundtrack, it's normally pretty lackluster. It's very much some dude who aspires to be a singer-songwriter who put it all into it, but he was a C student, so he really ain't got the goods. This one has the goods. And you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I invite you to go back and watch any 80s film where there's a character that's supposed to be a up-and-coming rock and roll star, and you can hear what bad music sounds like.
There's quite a few of them out there. Even some with so-called professional musicians in it too, like Thor. What was that piece of shit movie?
Oh, Thor Gunderson, whatever his name is, Mendelsohn, whatever. Oh my God, I know exactly
where
what
he fights
you're
the
talking
demon
about.
at the end, where the demon's like some giant insect.
Giant puppet. So
awful.
We'll just put the Blu-ray for it right here. Right?
You give me energy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I own it on Blu-ray and I can't remember the name of it,
but the music is solid in it.
It
works really well. Like I said, the costumes are great. There's some good cameos in there. Well, not by well-named people. Stuff that
but
like
famous in the FP.
Oh geez, what's his name? He's Tack from the Stoned Age, which we haven't reviewed.
Oh God,
I love that movie. Something Clifton Jr. He's also one of the vegans in Scott and Pilgrim.
Oh wow!
Take on the World, along with Thomas Jane. Remember the vegan police busting through the wall?
Yeah,
he's one of the vegan police.
Okay, all right. So I was not aware of that particular cameo in this
that part cracks me up because he's got that clown wig on and shit like that. He's got the shitty goatee and he's trying to sell them ecstasy.
I'm rolling with the red motherfucking monkey. I got the green eggs and ham ants. I'm rolling with the black.
So, and that's speaking of, this is not politically correct by any stretch of the imagination.
At all.
There is a ton of language. There is a ton of suggestive scenes. There's no nudity in this, but there is. Is there?
Yes, there is.
Oh.
Yeah. There's one of the dancing girls that dances in the pool. She has her top off, and there's like a guy behind her, like grabbing her, but it's like hidden in the background. So if you don't, it's almost like if you're not looking for it, you won't see it.
I obviously wasn't looking for it, so I didn't see it. So, but yeah, no, this is not one for the youngins. But at the same time, it's irreverent and it's completely off the rails. That's really the best I got for you. I can't think of another movie that like would even fall into this genre of film. It's just that batshit crazy.
But it works like within its own rules, and it never strays from its rules at all. I mean, everything's surprisingly cohesive, and it's such a tight little universe. Nothing feels out of place in it. Everything just belongs there.
Exactly.
It's like dystopia white trash, like portrayed to a T. It's hilarious. I mean, it's so well done.
I can't fucking take it anymore. I'm out.
Fucking hang out with your little sick friend, baby dumpster, fucking whore.
You!
See, and this right here, this proves that if you stick to the rules, worry about your characters, worry about your character arcs, worry about your mythology. If you establish it, stick to it. Don't break your own rules. You know, you can make a film on a $45,000 budget that 10 years on, people are still talking about.
Yeah.
So
and it's funny, because just going back, like even its logic works really well because so you got BEE, takes over the FP, as far as like street character, as the dancer. But then his dad dies, so he takes over the liquor store, so he controls the liquor in there, which is how this whole thing really starts, and why the downfall of the 248. So I mean, it's stupid, it's silly, but it sticks to its rules. It stays in its lane. It knows what it's doing. It doesn't stray.
And at no point does it ever. So a lot of comedies, like the first 2/3 of it are hilarious, and then like at the third they have to have their big conflict, and then it kind of turns serious or dramatic or attempts to.
No.
This sticks to batshit crazy from the first moment to the last moment, all the way through.
There's some heartfelt moments though.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when Stacy is in the playground. Yeah. Trying to find her rack. Yeah, what are you doing? Making
dealing with
sandcastles?
feminine hygiene issues in a constructive manner involving sand and a stick. So and I'm just gonna leave it there.
The clip will be right here.
I'm looking for a rag. My dad spent all of our money on booze, and sometimes you get lucky here.
I have one.
Oh my god!
God, this is going to be the shortest Tony and Mike Watch the World Burn ever. The only other thing that I can say is that as much as I love this movie, and this movie is virtually impossible to find as far as Blu-ray goes.
On Blu-ray, yes. But it is right now free on Tubi to watch.
So
yeah. So there's no need to hit the high seas.
So, well, I was going to say, it's not a matter of hitting the high seas. I bought a copy of this, and the version of it that I bought was actually a rental copy from a video store.
Oh, really?
I don't know if there was a release on that one, but yeah, the copy that
it was released on Blu-ray.
It was released?
It was, yeah. A couple years after it was in the theater, because it did make a hit. It was a hit on South by Southwest, and then it got picked up distribution. I forgot what the name of the company was, but they distributed it. A small release in theaters. It didn't do very well, but it was picked up and released in Blu-ray a couple years later.
Okay.
No, not Blu-ray, DVD. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry, DVD.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, my Blu-ray copy was a rental copy. Okay. And I want to say that it was a family video that had gone out of business, and I just happened to actually get the copy that they had. So the box that I have, it has the artwork for the FP, but then it actually also has, for rental on the side of it, and it's got one of those commercial heavy-duty plastic cases. So my disc is going to last until the end of time.
Shit's tough in the FP.
So, anyway, watch it on Tubi or find yourself an out-of-print copy. Good luck. But what I was going to say was there was a sequel to this.
There is.
That came out just a few years ago. And I have to say that as much as I was looking forward to it, I was super excited when I heard about it. But the sequel, it has moments, but it's nowhere near as consistently funny as the original.
It takes itself a little too seriously,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, that's kind of the failing that I was going to land on.
And it PC'd itself back because while they say in this one, they say ninja in the next one, and it just doesn't have the same feel. Yeah.
And not in a derogatory way. It's just how they all refer to each other. It was street talk at the time. So.
Well, it means something in this one. It does.
I'm never ignorant in getting goals accomplished.
And he says actually multiple times throughout this. And then the other mantra is beat, which is balance, expeditiousness, aggression, and tempo. And that's how he's trained. That's his training mantra. From BLT.
But
BLT, baby.
No, but
well, he's not dead.
No, you don't know that. Wait, didn't he die in the sequel?
BLT?
Yeah,
I don't know. If he was
I thought that J-Tro I thought J-Tro lost his master. And
I don't remember.
The old school kung fu rock. I don't know the sequel. I was super excited. I was super disappointed. Not super disappointed. Underwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's the word that I would use. And like I said, it had moments, but it just kind of missed its window, and it lost its edge a bit.
Yes, it did.
That is the one thing I will say about this. This is and it's tongue-in-cheek. They're trying to be edgy, but they're making fun of people that try to be edgy the entire time that they're trying to be edgy. And that's one of the reasons why it works.
Well, also, too, it's kind of that tail end of, white people trying to be kind of bro-y.
Yeah.
In that respect.
Yeah.
Or ghetto in that kind of respect.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, I was going to say hip-hop culture in general kind of changed from then till now. So it's kind of like, the 80s, everybody had gold ropes, and then you saw then you had the 90s, and it was all very, urban aware, urban conscious. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but you had stuff like De La Soul and Arrested Development, rap groups that would not have been big in the 80s. So this was following that particular trend, and it lands exactly where it did time-wise. It is most definitely dated. It is a product of its time for a ton of reasons, but it would be like trying to do a sequel to this would be like trying to do a sequel to a movie about Guitar Hero 5 years from now. That's the best analogy that I can come up with, because it was a huge thing 5 years ago, but now no one gives a shit.
5 years ago. 10 years
10
ago.
years ago.
No, even longer than that, probably like 15.
Guitar Hero?
Oh, Guitar Hero.
Yeah,
I thought I meant Dance Dance
Revolution. Yeah, Dance Dance Revolution predated Guitar Hero.
Well, even Guitar Hero is probably about 8 years ago. So 8 to 10. So yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, I was gonna say, like, the problem with the sequel was that it tried to stick with this mythology instead of they should have actually gone to Guitar Hero. That J-Tro had to learn a new discipline. He couldn't do Beat Revelation. He had to do Banjo Hero or something along those lines.
That would give it a clever name.
Whatever the thing is, but they should have tapped into that next trend that came along in gameplay like that had kind of taken over dystopia. That some future archaeologist had dug up a whole rock band set, and now you couldn't just perform solo. You had to perform with 3 of your buddies and score. So now you're fighting wars with groups of 4. I'm just throwing this out there for you, J-Tro. If you're listening, take that idea and run with it. The FP, the next generation, it can happen, but
so I love this movie. I totally recommend it. Again, it's free on Tubi. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's stupid, it's silly, it's ridiculous. But if you like stupid, silly, ridiculous, you're gonna love it.
That's exactly my sentiment on this one. If you got the right sense of you'll know 5 minutes in if you're gonna love it or hate it.
Yeah.
If you get 5 minutes in and you're like, no, just turn it off and move on, and no one's gonna blame you for that. But if you find it funny, watch it through to the end. You'll thank us later. So,
and skip the FP too.
Yeah. So, don't skip it. Just don't watch it with the same amount of enthusiasm. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
it's a watch once kind of film, whereas the FP holds up to multiple viewings.
In kind of in the vein of this, and just the fact that it's a super low budget film that most people don't know about, is I recommend for me is The Stone Age. It has Clifton in it, Tack, but none of the rest of the stars. It's an older movie. I think they came out like in the like 95 or something like that. Just a little bit after Dazed and Confused, which surprisingly they shot it before Dazed and Confused actually came out.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just got held up in release post production hell. But it's a stoner comedy, but it's kind of the same vein. It's very low production. You're not going to know any of these stars except for Frankie Valli at the very end. But check it out. I think that's on. I'll put it up over here wherever you can rent it.
Look, I'm just gonna say, watch Strange Wilderness, watch Grandma's Boy. If you dig those kind of movies, you'll dig this. That's what I got. That's the best recommendations I can give you. If I go indie, I'm just gonna get a little too obscure and I had no idea that movie even exists, or it exists on one of those old plastic Play School records with the wind up thing, and that's the only way that you can get it unless you hit the high seas. But our mateys, remember to turn on your peer blocker.
All right. So, what are we reviewing next?
Next, following my descent into Stallone madness, we had to follow up a movie that is as batshit crazy as the FP with a movie of substance, of quality, that was made with craft and compassion. That's why we are going to be watching Stallone's magnum opus about arm wrestling, Over the Top.
Yeah.
So,
until then.